I'd like to welcome you to our 32nd annual Penguin Club Scholarship Ring Dinner. My name is Rob Schmidt. I'll be your host for the evening. As everybody settles in, just a quick reminder, as we always make, please turn your cell phones to silent or vibrate. You do not want to miss any of my one-liners because your phone is going off. All right, tonight we are here to honor our Penguin of the Year, Ed Muransky, as well as our championship teams from this past year. But before we get to that, we have several people that we would like to thank, starting with the staff and management here at Mr. Anthony's for their hospitality. If we give a nice round of applause. Another great event here at Mr. Anthony's. Also, thank you to the Cavelli Enterprises for their continued support of YSU athletics. Also, thanks to our friends at Birkeland Flowers for the beautiful centerpieces. You can take the flowers with you. Remember this, I screwed this up one year. You can take the flowers with you, but not the vases. I said take it all with you one year, and I owed the university 2 months' pay. So please do not take the vases tonight. Thank you. All right, special thanks to KDC Printing for their work on tonight's banquet program. I invite you to read through that. A lot of good information on our student athletes, our past Penguins of the Year. They put a lot of work and effort into that, so we want to thank them. Also, thanks to all the area businesses who were kind enough to place ads for support of YSU Athletics and Ed Muransky. Also, we appreciate the work of LED3, the side panels to my left and right. Also, thanks to Greg Roten in the back from Armstrong. He is recording tonight's banquet for posterity. And we'd also like to thank a couple of members from the YSU Athletic Department here tonight. First, our Executive Director of Athletics, Ron Strollo, if he would please stand. I know Ron always hates that, so I take great pleasure in calling him out. A special thank you as well to the Associate Athletic Director for the Penguin Club, Jim Morrison, if he would please stand, Mr. Morrison. Also, I want to thank Tom Morella, Austin Snodgrass, and Dave Hinkle for their work. This is an outstanding turnout here tonight, upwards of 1,000 people, and they put all the work in getting this room decorated, everybody seated in the right position, taking all your reservations. That's a lot of hard work to go into an event this size, so we want to thank them for that. And in addition to that, too many to name here tonight, but I want to have our entire athletic department staff, those here in attendance, if they would please stand for their work that they do, not just tonight, but throughout the course of the academic year for our student athletes. Speaking of our student athletes, they had another banner year, or at least a banner semester, in the classroom. This past fall, our student athletes combined for a 3.554 grade point average. 406 of those students had a semester GPA of 3. 134 of those student athletes posted a perfect 4.0. All of YSU's 19 programs had a cumulative GPA of at least a 3.16, led by the women's bowling program with a 3.81 GPA. The women's golf team posted the best semester GPA at an impressive 3.912, followed by women's basketball at 3.8. Men's tennis owned the highest cumulative GPA this past semester of all the men's programs with a 3.65. The top semester GPA as well at 3.61. Men's swimming and diving right behind them at 3.59. Now, as you know, this event not only raises money for athletic scholarships here at Youngstown State University, but for the championship rings. And there have been a lot doled out over the past several years, including this past season. We had 9 championship teams capture either a league or conference title this past year. That includes women's basketball, men's and women's tennis, women's lacrosse, men's cross country, men's and women's indoor track and field, men's and women's outdoor track and field. That's a lot of rings. Thank you for your support. That's all well deserved. Also, I'd like to congratulate our head coaches who led those student athletes to conference and league championships: John Barnes, Mikkel Sopel, Ulysses Hernandez, Kendall Clarkson, and Brian Gorby. With those in attendance, please stand. Thank you, coaches. You know, one of the nicest things about this evening is not only honoring some of our finest individuals in the Mahoning Valley, but it's an opportunity for our fans and our boosters and even the people that still work at the university that have not met our student athletes to come together, have dinner, get to know one another on a more personal basis. You know, oftentimes when I've had an opportunity to meet with student athletes who are being recruited to come to Youngstown State, that's one of your selling points, that our fans and our faculty get to know you as more than just a number on a jersey. They get to know you personally. You know, you become a part of the fabric of this community, and we want to thank you for all of that. And our coaches that are here, with the rest of them stand that I did not mention, as well as all of our student athletes that you had a fine chance to meet here tonight. With those people, please stand. Don't be shy. It's one of the reasons we're here, for those young individuals here tonight. Our first speaker is a newcomer to this event, but not a newcomer to the Mahoning Valley. She was born and raised here in Youngstown, received her baccalaureate and graduate degrees from YSU, plus her husband, Jim, is also a YSU graduate with a degree in business administration. She comes to us from Villanova, where she has been a long-time and highly respected administrator and faculty member. But on February 1st, she began her tenure as president of Youngstown State University. It's my honor to introduce to you Dr. Helen Lafferty.
So, wow, all these people, I can hardly believe it. I am only 23 days old, so I've only been here 23 days. My tenure certainly isn't what many presidents can claim, but I want you to know how thrilled and happy I am to be here. And I must tell you, my first 23 days, I know I'm still on my honeymoon. I think I get 100 days, but I think when you're the president, you only get 20, so my honeymoon's really over. But I just want to tell you that Youngstown State University is truly a very, very special place, and it's special because of all the people that make it that way. Our faculty, our staff, our students, our student athletes, they are our greatest ambassadors, and it is such a humbling honor for me to represent them. I cannot think of anything finer, actually, than to be the interim president of Youngstown State University. Now, as many of you know, this is our 32nd annual ring dinner. Actually, it's my first, but the 32nd one that we hold here. And we do this, as Rob said so well, to recognize all of you who make whatever we do at Youngstown State University possible. If you did not support us, we would not be able to do the things we do and support the athletes that come to our university. He told you how great they are on the field and on the courts. They're great in our community. They do wonderful service work for our community, and they are great students. And academic excellence is our first priority with all the athletes. Now, I know Rob had you stand, but I'm going to have you stand once more. Up on your feet so you can see all the people that support you, and they can see all of you. Stand, please. Yes. A pretty good-looking group of ambassadors, I would say, right? Right. And you know, we have over 500 of them. And so this is where we cannot thank you enough, all of you who support us in the many efforts that our athletic department undertakes. It really is because of you that they become the great people that they are. So from the bottom of our hearts, I want to extend to all of you my heartfelt thanks for all you do for our university and all you do for these wonderful students. And I would also like to thank and acknowledge once again our honoree for tonight. Ed, you are, how can I say it? You're just like a gift to us. You have been so generous, so supportive, and you're always there. You support the foundation, you support the athletic department, and everything you do matters. It matters to these kids, it matters to our university. And on behalf of all of them, I want to thank you. And actually, I thought of this coming over. You actually show us what goodness looks like, and it looks just like you. So thank you very much. And thanks to everyone. Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to a very exciting tenure, and I've said this to many people. I'm actually having too much fun. They might tell me to go home real soon, but I really want to enjoy everything that's here, and you've all made that so possible, and I'm so grateful to you. Thank you very much.
If you have an opportunity tonight before you leave, I encourage you to please introduce yourself to Dr. Lafferty. She is an outstanding lady and a lot of fun to talk to, very energetic. She gave a recorded speech, but a speech nonetheless to the men's basketball program before their senior day game, if I'm not mistaken. And Coach Calhoun was kind enough to play that for me before it aired to the team, and I'm not going to lie. Halfway through it, I had to look away and bite my lip. It brought tears to my eyes. It was that heartfelt. It was really something for her passion in such a short amount of time for this university. So please, if you have an opportunity tonight, before you leave, please introduce yourself to her. She is going to be another treasure that we can take credit for here in Youngstown, and particularly Youngstown State. Thank you. Also, you're one of those people that can read without notes. I didn't think anybody could do it as well as Jim Tressel, but you stepped right in and done that, so very, very, very well done. I'm not that way. I'm going to read. As many of you know, the Penguin Club and its members are a vital resource for the athletic department at Youngstown State University. They help our teams compete at the highest levels, and their support of events like tonight is imperative for our continued success. While most of you already are members of the Penguin Club, I'd like to bring up their president, Rick Frieda, to tell you more about the importance of being a member of the YSU Penguin Club.
So Rob said everything that I had to say, so my remarks are probably going to be really, really quick. Well, we're going to move this out here. So anyways, good evening, and welcome to the 32nd Annual YSU Penguin Club Scholarship Ring Banquet. I will keep my remarks short because he covered just about everything I was going to say. At this time, first and foremost, on behalf of the Penguin Club, I would like to welcome Dr. Helen Lafferty, President of Youngstown State University, to her first ring banquet dinner as president. Welcome, President. At this time, thank you. At this time, I would ask Penguin Club board members to stand to be recognized for your board participation and contribution to YSU athletics. Let's give these committed ladies and gentlemen a round of applause. Please stand. Thank you. The reason we are here today is to honor and recognize all of the YSU student athletes. These talented, hardworking, and self-disciplined young women and men represent some of the brightest and best of our beloved university. I encourage all of the businesses represented here today to remember these faces when it comes time for you to hire. I can say with absolute assurance that some of Compco's best employees were once YSU student athletes. Evan Standahar and Lucas Nasani are both here. Evan played on the golf team and Lucas was on the baseball team. Both were YSU student athletes. As you may know, the Penguin Club was founded in 1974. The Penguin Club has made contributions to YSU athletic programs over the past 40 years, totaling nearly $14 million. By attending this ring dinner banquet, you are an important part of a rich YSU tradition. Over the past 25 years, the Penguin Club's ring dinners have generated over $2.5 million. The Penguin Club continues to contribute over $40,000 annually to the athletic department's technology fund. Last year, 36 student athletes benefited from scholarships from the Joe Malamasseur Scholarship Endowment. Since its inception, over 100 student athletes received scholarships through this endowment. The Joe Malamasseur Scholarship Endowment currently exceeds $1.4 million. That's significant. The Penguin Club supports YSU's 21 collegiate sports and well over 500 student athletes. Last year, YSU had 9 championship teams: women's basketball, women's lacrosse, women's indoor track, women's outdoor track, women's tennis, men's indoor track, men's outdoor track, men's cross country, and men's tennis. Let's give these fine athletes and coaching staffs another round of applause. YSU continues to improve its infrastructure through the generosity and vision of our community. The Jim and Melissa DeBacco Family Leadership Center is nearly 99% complete. The Penguin Club committed $200,000 to this project. The Beagley Center Karandovich Training Facility is under construction and should be completed in June of this year. These are just a few projects the Penguin Club has supported over the many years. At this time, I would like to thank and congratulate the Penguin of the Year, Mr. Ed Muransky. His wife Christine, and the entire Muransky family for supporting this university and YSU athletics. I've had the privilege of being able to call Ed a friend since high school. We've got some stories, but that's for another day. Ed and the entire Muransky family have the unique ability to identify a need in our community, to dedicate vision, resources, and good old-fashioned hard work to get things done. And they do it quietly. Even though he hails from that team up north, I couldn't not include this, okay? I think that Ed is a Penguin at heart. Our entire community thanks and congratulates not only you, Ed, but the entire Muransky family. This is 2 years in a row that I'm able to congratulate 2 men that I admire and respect, Ed and Joe Carolla. Thank you both. I would be remiss if I did not thank former President Jim Tressel for his years, vision, hard work, and leadership here at the university. A big thank you to Ellen for her patience and endurance over the past 9 years, sharing her husband with us. Jim Tressel is the embodiment of a servant leader. While we will miss you here at YSU, and mostly watching him give people rides in his Penguin Mobile, we wish you and Ellen a healthy, happy, and long retirement. You've earned it. Please mark your calendars for upcoming Penguin Club events. April 25th, the YSU World Penguin Day campaign of giving ends. April 26th is the Scholar Athlete Awards Banquet. It will be held in Kilcawley Center in the Chestnut Room. June 14th and 15th is the State Farm Penguin Club Scholarship Golf Outing. More information on the outing is on page 118. And the Penguin Club Jamboree will be held in November, date and time to be determined. Over the past few years, I've had the honor of getting to know many of the athletic staff, coaches, administrators, and athletes. I couldn't be more proud to be associated with such quality individuals and such a great university. It's an honor to be a small part of the Penguin Club. I would also like to thank Mr. Morrison. Where's Mr. Morrison at? He keeps me straight at all the Penguin Club meetings. Ted, where's Ted Schmidt at? Just a word of advice for next year. Sit next to Mr. Morrison, Paul Williams, and Jim Calcasi. They will keep you straight. And I conclude by wishing the women and men's indoor track teams and women's and men's basketball teams good luck in their championship runs coming up. And by thanking each and every one of you for taking time tonight to honor our staff, athletes, administrators, and volunteers. We are grateful to each of you for your continued support of Youngstown State Athletics and the Penguin Club. Thank you again, and go Gwins.
Thank you. Whoops. What I forgot to tell Rick is the outgoing president of the Penguin Club. I have an opportunity to read his speech before he gives it, and I take all the best nuggets for myself. That's my present to Rick, who does a phenomenal job. One of the most generous men I know, Rick Frieda. If you have had the opportunity over the past several weeks to watch our men's and women's basketball programs play at the Beagley Center, you will have noticed a significant increase in attendance. That's partially thankful to you for being there and your support of our programs and continued support. It's also largely due to the fact that both our teams continue to play at a high level this season. The men have played 4 games now in front of crowds better than 4,000 people. It started with a nationally televised game against Oakland on a Friday night in which they held on to beat the Golden Grizzlies. Now we need them to win tonight. Our next speaker is the man that has masterminded this. The YSU men's basketball program is on the verge of its first Horizon League regular season championship. This year's team has set school records for Division I most wins with 22. That's the most in 46 years, dating all the way back to NAIA. And now in his 6th season, his team has already won the most Horizon League games in a regular season. He's 3rd on the all-time wins list now with 94 victories here at Youngstown State. He hopes to add to that this weekend in Indianapolis. Here's head coach Jared Calhoun.
Been called a lot of things, not a mastermind. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I was a little nervous about getting the invite tonight. Didn't think Ron was going to invite me after that second half the other night at Robert Morris. We're going to try to do better Saturday at 7. But I'm very honored to be here. I love this event for a lot of reasons. Probably the biggest reason is the student athletes when they talk. I really enjoy listening to their stories. I think that's why we all get into coaching. I think that's why we support our teams. I want to really congratulate Ed Muransky and his family. I've seen it firsthand. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Bob and Ed asked our team to come help them. And usually when you put your name on something, you kind of go all in. But what I saw Ed and his wife do and his family and his team it impacted my life forever. We packed groceries, we delivered those groceries, and if you haven't done it, I think it's something that would change your life. I know it changed my daughter's lives. Our players really enjoyed it. And the impact you see when you deliver that food to those families, it's amazing. So Ed, we can't thank you enough for doing that, everything you've done in this city and for these Penguins. I'm honored to be here representing our coaches. The impact that the coaches have daily, and not a lot of fans realize that. And if I could have all our coaches stand up, I think we have some of the best coaches in all of NCAA. I think Barnes might have skipped out, so that's I really want to see if he's still here to bust his chops. But all of our coaches, please stand up and let's recognize these men and women. They put a lot of time in, a lot of time that a lot of people don't see. I also, I'm a note guy. I like to take notes. I'm not as good as you, Doc, and President Tressel, but I also want to thank our Board of Governors. I think with any good athletic department, you have to have alignment. I think our Board of Governors, I'd put up there with anybody in the country. So our Board of Governors members, I can't thank you guys enough. We see you at the games. It's felt by our players and our students. Rob talked about Dr. Lafferty's speech, and I sent a text to President Tressel, and he said, it just took a Villanova president, a Villanova person to get you guys over the top, didn't it? But I said, yeah, we finally have a basketball president up here in Youngstown. It's great. Things are going really well. Also, I want to thank Ron Strollo. I don't think Ron gets the credit he deserves. You know, he's kind of a behind-the-scenes type leader. But that first year when I got here 6 years ago, when you're 8 and 24, you know, it's a little different when you're 22 and whatever. There was one constant text message, one constant voice that was there for me and my staff through it all, and that was Ron. And one of the big ways we got this thing turned was our momentum. I think momentum is really, really important in scheduling. We finally got where we could actually play a schedule in the non-league. We didn't have to go play 4 and 5 bye games, and Ron was a big part of that. So Ron, where you at, man? I can't thank you enough. Appreciate everything you've done for us. You know, when I got here 6 years ago, I just couldn't understand people from Youngstown, right? They grow up here, they go to school, and then they never leave, right? Nobody ever leaves. Everybody's here. I think my wife and I now understand that. I was telling Ed Reese and his family, it's a special place. It's a hard place to describe, but everything you guys do day in and day out helps us. I want to thank all of you, not just for the money. We need more of it. There's no doubt about it. All right, times are changing, but the energy that you guys have brought to this athletic department and the time over the 6 years has been unbelievable. I want to congratulate all the student athletes. You guys have been awesome. The championships you've won, the academic success you guys have had has been unbelievable. So I want to close with this. You know, I've been here 6 years. I told my wife, I said, I'm going to come up with a word or two to describe each year. Year 1, nightmare. Year 2, light. We started to see the light. Year 3, progress. Year 4 was the shutdown, right? We didn't get to finish that year out due to COVID. Year 5 was change. That's the portal. That's NIL. And in year 6, it's history. It's about making history on Saturday night, ending this drought, and we did it with you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Coach. We obviously wish Coach Calhoun and the men all the best this Saturday at IUPUI. That game tips at 7 o'clock as the men try to clinch their first Horizon League regular season championship. And a side note, both the men and women's teams have already clinched top 4 seeds in the Barbasol, as they call it, Horizon League basketball championships, which means we will have a quarterfinal doubleheader on Thursday, March 2nd. That is 1 week from today. We hope to see you at Beagley Center starting at 5:30 for the women's quarterfinal game. Our student athletes not only make an impact on the field, on the court, in the pool, in the classroom, but also in the community. Their outreach projects are truly astounding. They have totaled more than 2,200 hours this year. The most common community partners are the United Way, Covelli Center, Oh Wow, Penguin Pantry, Heart Reach Ministries, Ohio Nonviolence Parade, the Youngstown City Schools, Panerathon, and the Rescue Mission of the Mahoning Valley. If you would at this time, please turn your attention to the video screens just to see how our student athletes impact the community.
We just take for granted have like all our abilities, and then when you actually see someone get so excited to enter to the tennis facility or be excited to work out and play with some tennis balls and a racket, that's my favorite part because we do it all the time, but we forget to take it. Like we just take it for granted.
The children had so much energy, positive energy. They go around, they literally hug you all the time. It's super heartwarming and they're just so nice.
We have seen how the children start to get attached to us and we get to attach to them. We also learn how to communicate with them, but it's just the same. Like, you really have to talk the same. I have seen how the program has grown. Like, I've seen more new kids. I see how we just learn how to interact with them.
You start valuing your life in such a different way just because you see them. And to be honest, if you actually see how they are in, let's say, in real life, not just in stories you hear about Down syndrome children, you definitely get like a completely different view. And I think that's what makes this whole experience so much worth it.
I feel like that's of the good sides of like this program growing, because now we can pass it to the newer generations of how to talk to them.
Usually we have practice before it, and we tend to be tired afterwards. And as soon as they enter the court, literally you just have an explosion of energy and everyone is running around, but like in a positive way, and it's so much fun, not just for them, but I think also like for us. We really have a really good time on court and also off court if we see them, and they do remember us. So every time we see each other again, it's like you just see a friend again, and it's really nice.
You know, thanks to you, our student athletes are not just winning young men and women, they're our next generation of leaders, and that was a good example as to what they are doing to impact our community here in the Mahoning Valley. Now, as you know, if you've attended this event before, one of the highlights is not just sitting and talking with our student athletes in person, but actually having a couple come forward and share their story. It's always one of the highlights of the night, and that is no exception here this evening. We have two such individuals, and our first student athlete has played in every YSU women's basketball game since joining the program in 2019. A native of Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, she helped the Penguins to their first Horizon League regular season championship last season. She graduated with her bachelor's degree in marketing and sales last May and is currently working toward the Master of Business Administration. On Tuesday of this week, she was named the College Sports Communicators Academic All-District Team Member. Would you please welcome Maddie Albaugh.
I didn't get the same help that Dr. Lafferty got getting up on stage, so. Hi, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone all dressed up tonight and out of uniform for a change. It's such an honor to be chosen to speak tonight. I'm so thankful to represent YSU and the women's basketball team. As Rob said, my name is Maddie Albaugh, and I'm in my 4th year on the women's basketball team and my 2nd year as a captain on the team. My journey with YSU actually began 10 years ago. So the first time I came to YSU's campus as a recruit, I was going into 8th grade, and I was literally 12 years old. I was only 5 foot tall as well, let me add. I'm not sure what you see in a 5 foot 12-year-old, but hey, thanks Coach Barnes for seeing something that not every coach did. Youngstown was one of the only schools and one of the only coaching staffs who didn't mention my height throughout the recruiting process. I remember numerous calls to coaches that I've played against in my career at YSU, and let me add, we've beaten them, that told me I would never play Division I college basketball at my height. The fact that Coach Barnes and the staff never mentioned my height was extremely important to me because the coaches at YSU made me feel as though I could succeed in an already successful program at a place that felt like home. I wanted to be close to my family, being from Pittsburgh, while also having a family feel within my team. I couldn't be happier with the people I'm surrounded with within my team and the athletic department. Not to mention, on one of my first visits to YSU, they introduced me to President Tressel, and I got to speak with him, I got to take a picture. Me, an unknowing 13-year-old at the time who knew nothing about football besides that Tim Tebow was a really cute quarterback, I sent the picture in my family group chat and I captioned it, met the president today. My dad responded immediately and he said, "Do you even know whose presence you're in right now? Tell the coaches you're committing and do it now." So I'm lucky enough to have my dad here with me tonight, and I like to thank him and both of my parents for everything they've done for me, everything they've sacrificed, and being my biggest fans. I'd truly be nothing without them. It's rare you find stability and comfort in a group of coaches in the crazy world of athletics we're in now. Sorry. And I would like to thank my coaching staff and all of those I've met during my athletic journey here at YSU who gave me a chance to succeed at the highest level of college athletics while pushing me to be my best me. In mentioning President Tressel, I'd also like to mention Dr. Lafferty and give her a warm welcome. I literally met her tonight, and I think she's one of the nicest women I've ever met. Bubbly, talkative. We're so excited to have you here, and we can't wait to get to know you more and learn from you. My YSU journey has been a ton of ups and downs, as I'm sure many of you student athletes can relate. My freshman year, we were barely 500. We often had 7 healthy players. And then after my second year, which was rough for everyone because of COVID, we had a lot of transfers. And by a lot, I mean 7 girls left and 10 new girls came in on an only 15-player roster. I never thought to leave, though. I never thought to transfer, even when a lot of my friends were leaving, because of the trust I had in our coaches to recruit the right people and make the program what I knew it could be. After that huge year of change, we had one of our most successful seasons last year, arguably in history. We captured the Horizon League regular season title. We obtained the Horizon League and YSU record for Horizon League wins in a season with 18. My teammate Lily and I were picked as 2 of the only 3 ever all-defensive team picks. And we were picked preseason number 1 this year and are in the midst of another historic season after we swept Wisconsin for just the 3rd time in 22 years of the Horizon League. This turnaround I've experienced being on the women's basketball team is a testament to the determination of the people at YSU, and it speaks on the character of all the people us student athletes are surrounded by. I feel truly lucky to be a part of such a special environment. Academically and socially, my experience couldn't have been better. My best friends are here, and it amazes me that a little community like Youngstown brought us together, and for that alone, I'm forever indebted to Youngstown. Academics has definitely been my favorite part of my YSU experience because of the standard that our coaches and YSU holds us to as student athletes. I obtained my undergrad in 3 years, and I'm currently pursuing my master's. I will graduate this spring, and I hope to begin my doctorate in the fall. My sophomore year, my team captured the 2nd GPA nationally among all Division I teams, and we have been in the top 10 or 25 season after season. And that's just speaking on my team. I mean, you heard Rob, and as a whole, our athletic teams carry an outstanding GPA. It's rare you find an institution who holds their student athletes to such a high standard academically, and I thank YSU's outstanding athletic department for the expectations that they have of us. As I see all these people here tonight, so many familiar, friendly faces who I know because of how often I see them at all of our sporting events, I think I can speak for all athletes when I say playing for Youngstown is a feeling that you can only get by being a part of the culture here. It almost feels like nobody likes us except for us, and I can say everyone wants to beat us and always gives us their best games because of the championship culture that has been developed here. Since the last ring banquet, 9 YSU teams have captured league championships. Our track and field and cross-country teams very obviously often carry YSU on their back with those titles, individually and as a team. Then you add in women's basketball, capturing our first regular season title, men's tennis, women's tennis, lacrosse, and not to mention the countless runs our teams have gone on to give the Horizon League a run for their money in championships. I'd like to shout out men's basketball for the history they're currently making, women's soccer for making it to the Horizon League championship, and women's volleyball for having one of their best seasons in years. And I always say when a recruit comes on a visit, I'm like, you gotta see our bowling team. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. They're literally amazing. YSU is nicknamed Grit U for a reason, and to be an athlete at YSU means something very special. This all leads back to the reason we are here tonight, to honor our donors and those in the community that give so much to YSU for us athletes to be successful. When we received our rings last year for winning the regular season championship, so many friends I have at different schools could not believe that we got a ring just for winning the regular season championship. And I have to apologize to my future husband now because I will not be taking this championship ring off any time for an engagement ring. But that's the kind of support and devotion to athletics we have here at YSU, and it's truly unmatched. So on behalf of all YSU student athletes, I would like to thank every donor who has donated anything to support YSU athletics, even if it was just your time. It truly doesn't go unnoticed. Lastly, I would like to honor and congratulate tonight's recipient of the Penguin of the Year Award, Ed Muransky. I know how much so many of these donors dedicate to YSU athletics, so to be honored as someone who is a difference maker among those great list of people who make up those lists is truly an honor. Thank you for all you do to make YSU so successful. We wouldn't be who we are as athletes without someone just like you standing behind us and supporting us. I would also like to thank the Penguin Club for supporting our programs with these amazing championship rings, scholarships, facility and technology enhancements, and so much more. Because of the opportunities I've been given through my scholarship at YSU, I will and have been able to accomplish so many things I could only use to pray about. I would also like to thank all the people in the room tonight for supporting this event, and again, just everyone who donates to our programs through memberships and our other various events. Thank you for giving me the chance to speak tonight, and as always, go Gwens. Thank you. I needed help.
Sorry about that.
You know, Coach Calhoun mentioned it. when he was up here, that it's a new day in college athletics with the transfer portal, and more importantly, name, image, and likeness. The NIL has started to change things for student athletes. And here at Youngstown State, 3 of our women's basketball players lead the way in the Horizon League, not just here at Youngstown State, but in the Horizon League for having the top NIL. And Maddie is the leader, along with teammates Paige Shy and Lily Ritz. So congratulations. The burning question still remains, though, Maddie. If you followed Maddie's career, whether it's been on the court or off, her NIL success has been documented in the papers. She recently signed with the WWE. People want to know, are you going to be wrestling? You are wrestling. You're going to be wrestling. Unbelievable. Best of luck. Looks like we got a reason to get a next pay-per-view event. Maddie, though, best of luck this weekend. You close out the regular season at Robert Morris, and then they'll open up tournament play next Thursday in the quarterfinals. Our next student athlete will be competing along with the rest of the men's golf team at the Daytona Beach Spring Invitational on March 6th and 7th. The Borman native averaged a career best 73.7 strokes per round last season and helped lead the Penguins to a runner-up finish at the 2022 Horizon League Golf Championships. A 2-time Horizon League All-Academic selection, he graduated with his bachelor's degree in engineering and is currently enrolled in the Master of Science Engineering Management program. Please say hello to Brian Corduple. Brian, I am not helping you up the steps, however.
Well, chivalry is dead, I guess. Well, let me introduce myself. My name is Brian Corduple, and I'm a graduate of nearby Boardman High School. I have been a member of the men's golf team here at YSU for the last 5 years, and I'm so incredibly thankful to have had the opportunity to compete, grow, and develop at a Division I level. But I'm most thankful to do it in my hometown, surrounded by the people that I love and all my friends. Firstly, I want to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Helen Lafferty, our interim president to YSU. Dr. Lafferty, with almost 4 decades of experience at Villanova, we are truly grateful and excited to have your leadership back in the Valley. I would also like to extend a special congratulations to our 2023 Penguin of the Year, Mr. Ed Muransky. Mr. Muransky, individuals like you in this life are very hard to come by, much like a birdie on the 9th green at the Lake Club. I, of all people, know. But you are a pillar to this university with your generous contributions, and your commitment to making a difference in the Valley is evident through all that you do. From your scholarships to your involvement with the United Way Day of Giving, everything you do is so greatly appreciated. I would also like to send my gratitude to everyone in attendance here tonight. Competing in college athletics is a privilege that could not be done without your support. And if you are sitting in this room, it means that you have dedicated a piece of your life, not only to the success of this university, but to the futures and careers of 500 plus student athletes. To the Penguin Club, donors, families, friends, coaches, and the greater community of Youngstown, our student athletes are forever grateful for the opportunity to call Youngstown State home. Now, every athlete in this room has their own journey and story about how they got to be standing where they are today. And I've already said the word a few times tonight, but if I could define my journey in one word, it would be opportunity. See, I didn't grow up playing golf tournaments and getting lessons from the age of 5 like most of my peers. Heck, it was hard for me to break 80 until I turned 16. But this game, this special game of golf, has taken me places that I could have never imagined. Growing up, baseball was my sport, but while I was in Little League, golf was an opportunity to drive the cart with my dad and his buddies at Henry Stanbaugh Golf Course, while still thinking about those pancakes from the Golden Dawn afterwards. In middle school, it was an opportunity for my parents to treat me to Boulder Creek, but only if I got straight A's. And in the summer before I started high school, it was an opportunity to develop my work ethic, as I would put my gloves in my back with no driver's license, get on my bike, go across the hike and bike trail to Mill Creek Park, and practice till I could no longer practice, just in hopes of making the high school golf team. And when my father suddenly passed away during my freshman year of high school, it became the opportunity to honor his legacy and promote my life into something positive and constructive. And that's where my journey to YSU began. See, from that point on in high school, I was super motivated. I set goals and commitments, made lifelong friends, worked my butt off, and I got to the end of my senior year and I didn't have any offers to play college golf. Not D1, not D2, at any level. But that wasn't until Coach Joy gave me the opportunity to compete at a Division I level. And that might seem like a lifelong of opportunities for a teenager, and I was super thankful for all of it. But I didn't realize that I was just in the hallway of life. And by coming to YSU, a door was opened into a room of endless possibilities. See, outside athletics, YSU provided me the framework to choose my own career. I was able to collaborate on so many different projects and assignments while learning the lifelong skills I needed. Coming here enabled me to work an internship at Haltech Corporation, a local leader in the tire valve industry. And I'm gonna graduate with my master's degree by the age of 24. Through athletics, I've competed in 11 different states and logged over 105 competitive rounds of golf. I played in weather ranging from 95-degree heat to snow to tropical storms. And I've warmed up at 6 a.m. under car headlights, finishing the same day after sunset. And even though we're on the course out there playing alone, and our sport's an individual sport, with this team in this athletic department, it was never an individual sport. I've gotten the opportunity to play with 3 of my high school teammates, 2 of whom are sitting here tonight, Kate and Brian. And I have so many stories and memories that I will cherish forever in my time here. And I think they'll be the first to tell you that they'll be very relieved I will not be sharing any of those stories tonight. But what I will say is that what I love most about being a Penguin is that we're not only a part of our own individual teams here, but a part of a larger umbrella of athletics. Everyone within our family is dedicated to ensuring the success of all of our student athletes. I've been inspired by other student athletes, I've been coached by other coaches, and I've been supported through and through by every single resource that this administration has given to us. And to my head coach, Coach Tony Joy, thank you for continually pushing us when we didn't want to be pushed. And thank you for keeping us fresh and motivated through all the 36 whole days, the 8-hour car rides, and the 3-day turnarounds to the next event. Thank you for all the updates on the course during every Sunday practice round that Baker Mayfield threw yet again another interception. But most importantly, thank you for instilling in me that my scoring average is not a depiction of who I am as a person. Thank you for allowing us the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be a part of something much bigger than ourselves. See, in this life, when you get an opportunity, it doesn't just stop there. The main reason that you get opportunities is to expand upon more opportunities. And because I'm fortunate enough to be in an environment where so many different people care about your success, the future is bright. Even though penguins cannot fly, at YSU, the sky is still the limit. Thank you all, and go Penguins.
Nicely done. Thank you. Best wishes to Brian this season, in particular in the Horizon League Golf Championships in April. Very well done, Brian. Thank you. Now, in addition to our student athletes, there are a lot of other people at Youngstown State, a lot of students that still have an opportunity to learn from others within the athletic department and further their careers. And tonight we have 2 individuals we'd like to recognize for that very same reason. The recipient of this year's Chuck Perizich Scholarship is Madison Chapman. If she would please stand. Madison's in the back there. This scholarship is awarded to students who assist the Athletic Communications Department, and it's named after Vindicator's longtime sports editor, Chuck Perizich. Madison assists Trevor Parks and John Vogel, Jamie Hall and Dre Smith in our athletic communications, and it's grown so much over the last years with social media, between graphics and videos and what they do for our student athletes to make them feel special through social media is a never-ending job, and Madison's a very integral part of what she does and what those gentlemen do on a day in and day out basis. The other recipient that we'd like to recognize here is of the Bruce Burge Scholarship, and that's Ryan O'Kane. Is Ryan back there as well? Did Ryan not? Where's he at? He's over that side. There he is. How did you get prime seating? Oh, you know Lily Ritz, that's why. Now that scholarship annually goes to the student who assists us in the athletic marketing department. And we've always given them an opportunity to grow and learn. We learn from them. My Photoshop skills have grown exponentially since I started working with these students, and I thank Ryan for that. Now, before we honor our 2022 Penguin of the Year, I'd like to recognize the past Penguins of the Year who are in attendance tonight. If you would please feel free to stand when I announce your name, and then we'll give them applause all at once. Our most recent recipient, Joe Corolla. Dave Collins, the Collins family in Diamond Steel. Dave Dybel. Dennis and Janet Haynes. The Hively family. Dr. Darrell and Vicki Mincy. Ed Reese. Reed and Judy Schmutz, along with any members of the YSU football alumni. Nice round of applause for those past Penguins. What I didn't realize when you're Penguin of the Year is that somewhere along the line you get a red sport coat. I used to think it was only Reed Schmutz who had that red sport coat. And for years, I wanted to get one for myself, but now they're not as rare because Dave Dybel has one, Joe Corolla has one, but nobody has one like Scott Schulich. Look at that baby. That's got logos and everything. I know you got that fabric. Thank you for supporting us. The royalties will help us with our general scholarship athletes. All right, with that being said, another one of our past Penguins of the Year is here to introduce to you this year's recipient of the award. Would you please welcome the president of the YSU Foundation, Paul McFadden.
Thank you, Robbie. I'm getting an evil eye from Ed right now. It's a tremendous honor to be here to introduce Ed this evening. We have Team Muransky here with Chris, and Eddie and Dee are with us. Danny had to head back to work, but it's great to have all of you here to share in this celebration with over 1,000 people here to honor Ed tonight. So you think you know someone. I've known Ed for quite a while. And Ed is a gentleman of large stature, obviously. There is a presence to Ed. When he steps into a meeting room, boy, he commands a room. There is no question. I see a lot of folks shaking their heads right now. But this past December, I saw a side of Ed Muransky that I've never seen before in my life. I was at a women's basketball game at Beagley Center and went down to get a drink between the first and second quarter, and Eddie was there along with Ed, had a couple of your granddaughters with you, and Big Ed had little 2-year-old Kia. He was holding Kia in his arms. And I couldn't help. After saying hello to them, I turned around. They're right behind me. I wasn't eavesdropping. I could just hear Ed and Kia's conversation, and Big Ed was putty in Kia's hands. I mean, it was clear who the leader was in this relationship, and it was not Big Ed. Kia found it necessary to correct Ed on a point or two, and Ed accepted this criticism very well. But we need a suggestion box at the concession stand, because if you recall, we were getting closer and it was time for us to make our order, and Ed's holding Kia, and he said that Kia, they have hamburgers and they have hot dogs and they have pretzels, and do you recall Kia said, no, I want a sucker, right? There are no suckers at the concession stand, so we need to correct that for Kia. Dr. Lafferty, Coach Calhoun had some great points tonight about our great town. I would say this is a gathering of Youngstowners, and we're proud Youngstowners. We're proud of our blue-collar, hard work ethic. We're proud of our family values. We're proud of our town. It's what makes the selection of Ed so special tonight. Ed Muransky is a perfect example of a Youngstowner in where they can go and how much they can succeed. Ed was born and raised on the south side of Youngstown on Zedeker Street, over by Schwabel's in Pemberton Park. His father worked in a factory as a press operator, blue collar, hard work. His mother was a stay-at-home mom at first, raising Big Ed and his sister, family values. His mother would read books to he and his sister every night. That's such a vivid memory Ed has. When he was a little kid, Dr. Seuss, nursery rhymes. He said later she must have started running out of material. She joined the Book of the Month Club, but she still read to them every night. His mom went on to be a secretary at Union National Bank and Home Savings and Loan. And then third grade came along. This was a big year for Ed, third grade, because he was attending Taft Elementary School, public school, and he wanted to play tackle football. So they went down to sign up for tackle football. In third grade, the weight limit to play tackle football in the public league was 130 pounds. Big Ed weighed 160 pounds in third grade. He was ineligible. So Mom and Dad tossed him in the car and drove him downtown to St. Cyril Methodius and signed him up, and the rest is history. Of course, he matriculated on to Cardinal Mooney, went on to the University of Michigan, where he was two-time All-Big Ten, first-team All-American his senior year, went on to the National Football League, drafted by the Oakland Raiders, earned a Super Bowl ring in the 1983 Super Bowl, went on to the USFL for his final year. Now, I have to step back for one moment. I did talk to Ed the other day and had to ask a few questions before this evening, and it just dawned on me. I said, Ed, how did you and Chris ever meet? Well, Ed Muransky, the master strategist, the master negotiator, he knew Chris because he was dear friends with her brother in high school. But they never dated in high school. They knew of each other. So Ed heads off to University of Michigan. It only took about 2 or 3 years that he realized the prettiest girl between Ann Arbor, Michigan and Youngstown, Ohio was Chris Pepino. So he called back and invited Chris to come to a Michigan game. And she did. She brought a date to the game. Yeah, you have the same reaction I did, but then the master negotiator said, I knew she'd bring a date. That was all part of my plan. Well, how fortunate we are that 30 years ago, Ed and Chris Muransky moved back to Youngstown. They could have lived anywhere. They moved back to Youngstown. Can you imagine Youngstown without Southwood Surgery Hospital, Aunt Annie's Pretzels, the Lake Club, the Muransky Companies, Chestnut Land Company? Over 2,000 employees work for Ed and Chris Muransky. I wonder where they would work if they didn't come back 30 years ago. I wonder how our local nonprofits would be without Ed and Chris Muransky. I have a challenge for you tonight. Next time you see any nonprofit event, look at the names of benefactors and supporters. I don't know if I've ever seen one without Ed and Chris Muransky's name by that nonprofit. We're so fortunate their support of the university. Chris, your wonderful Pepino Arts Series in honor of your father. I know Dean Phyllis Paul's here tonight to support you and show her appreciation, supporting our students in the Dana School and our theater department. Been very generous to our athletic department, most especially in our sports medicine area. Where would we be, where would our community be without Ed and Chris Muransky? So we're all shaped by experiences early in our life, particularly our formative years, our late teens, early 20s. Those lessons, those things ingrained in us at that time, they impact us for the rest of our life. And Ed Muransky, during his formative years, was a football player. But more importantly, he was an offensive lineman. In football culture, any organization has a culture. The offensive line has a very special place, probably the most important place on a football team. They play the most plays. They have the hardest, most physical job. They take the most abuse. They're the defenders of the team. They're the protectors of the team. Yet when all is said and done, the offensive linemen step back into the shadows, and they hold the torch aloft, and they shine the light on their teammates, and they let their teammates have all the glory. When's the last time after a game you saw an offensive lineman interviewed? You see all the other players interviewed. If you look at Ed Muransky's life, since he's done play, he hasn't played football for over 30 years. Everything he does, he still plays the role of the offensive lineman with his family, with the Muransky companies and his employees, and with our community. He does all the heavy lifting. He takes on the toughest jobs. He's the protector. He's the defender. But when all is said and done, Ed Muransky steps back into the shadows and he holds the torch aloft and he lets everyone else take the credit for whatever happened. Well, this evening we flipped the script on him a little bit based on over 1,000 people here tonight. Tonight, collectively, we all hold the torch aloft and we shine the light. But tonight we shine the light, so deservingly so, on Ed Muransky for everything he's done for our community. It's an honor to call to the podium the 2023 YSU Penguin Club Penguin of the Year, Ed Muransky.
Come over here. Have him come over here.
Over there.
Ed, go over there.
Hey, Robert.
Maddie and Brian, please come forward. They're coming. We're going to take a picture.
Thank you, but it's a little bit off script. Brian and Maddie, great speeches. I loved hearing that, but I especially loved the color of your dress. I just had to say that. Thank you, everybody. President Lafferty, welcome. Just want you to know that the 1,000 people here, along with me, are here for you, and that we're all in this together. Appreciate you coming back, spending time once again back in Youngstown with your roots, and know that you know you're in a special community, and all of us and all of Youngstown are behind you. So if you ever need anything, you have everyone in this room to call and to help you in anything you do to make YSU better. Thank you for coming back. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you, Paul, for those remarks, I think. I appreciate it, and thank you for all the great work you do with the foundation. As I was putting my remarks together, hearing some of the wonderful past Penguins of the Year speeches, and hearing from all of my friends on what they feel the length of my speech should be, I was working on it at the office. And my son's office is right next to mine, and he came in and he said, "Dad, like children will do, they will tell you the truth, right?" He came in, he said, "Dad, I hear you're working." He said, I want to give you a piece of advice. He says, "I think you should start off with a quote." And I said, "Eddie, that sounds great." He said, "It's a quote from Franklin Delano Roosevelt." I said, "That's great, Eddie." So what is it? He said, his feeling that great public speaking started with sincerity. You have to start with sincerity. Then you have to be sincere, be brief, and be seated. He said, nobody wants to listen to you for too long. So Eddie, thank you. Uncle Lou, thanks you, all my friends, for telling me like it is. I want to thank the Penguin Club and Athletic Director Ron Strollo for this tremendous honor. I am humbled, sincerely humbled. This Wolverine thinks so much of this community and this university that it is a tremendous honor for me and my family, because we're all in this together. And I really appreciate you singling me out as Penguin of the Year, and that there's 500 people in here that should be honored as well for all that you do. So thank you. First tonight, this banquet is about our student athletes. It's about YSU. And the one thing I heard tonight is the academic success that our student athletes have at YSU. And President Tressel, I hope he is someplace in the sun, maybe a cigar, maybe a little crown. He deserves it. But he really always felt that by adding athletics, and you know this, Ron Strollo, and adding the type of student athletes that are going to be coming on this campus, that it's going to make our area better, and obviously give these children a chance to come to college and live out their dream as a Division I scholar. So I'm so proud of that, and I just want to tell all of you, first and foremost, to continue down that path, that although all of us get involved in that putt, Brian, on the 9th hole that you're going to make this year, and all the things that you do individually and as a team, that even Tom Brady has his last day, I think, of playing sports. And all of you will fall back on the education that you're getting at Youngstown State and beyond. So don't ever forget that. Championship rings, champions. You look at them today, and the rings got a little bit bigger through the years, as you notice. And when you get them, the diamonds and the rubies and all that are about it means so much. And you're so proud of it. Maddie, I'd be proud of it too. And to wear it with pride and all that it means and the bling. And with the athletes, you're going to know 45 years from now, you're still going to have that ring, Maddie. And what it's going to bring back to you is the hard work you had to put in to get that ring individually. You're going to remember the teamwork that you guys had to put in when you guys won the championship this year and what it meant. But most importantly, that ring is going to symbolize the friendships and the teammates that you made by getting that ring or by striving for the ring. And that it's about the ring banquet, and all of us go by it, and you're going to love that ring forever. But I really feel that what you learn on the court, on the course, on the field, you'll use the rest of your life. So many lessons I had that I thought was all about football had nothing to do with football in life. So cherish it, but cherish your relationships even more because it's so special. Athletes, do me a favor. Tonight, the next time you're home, single out the people that allowed you to be here tonight. Tell all your friends on your team to do the same thing, to go home and give that person who helped you along the way, however they helped you, to further your career, either academically or athletically, and give them a hug. Tell them thank you. Tell them what you meant, or they meant to you in your life, and that it's something that I think as time goes by we forget to do, and I feel that it's something that a little kiss and a little hug goes a long way for that person feeling a little bit special. Lastly, to the athletes, I'm going to leave you with a little secret, and that little secret is alive and well with the 1,000 people in the room, is that the secret to life, according to Father Tim O'Neill, the late Tim O'Neill, one of my mentors, the secret to life is life's happiness is being an unselfish giver. Not a giver that expects something back, but an unselfish giver. And athletes, if you look around the room tonight, you have 1,000 people that are unselfishly sitting here because YSU and all of you are so important to the community. And it's a lesson in life that it's not about millions of dollars or success. All of those things are great as you guys go on your career and whatever you're doing. But at the end of the day, you have to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and like what you see. And the fulfillment you get back from volunteering, from donating, from helping, from giving a hug, comes back 100-fold. So congratulations to all your athletes. Go win some more championships. Coach Calhoun, we're all behind you, and Coach Barnes, and it's been some exciting times down at Beagley, and let's bring this thing home. Because championships are not easy. And I told him that tonight, and he said that to the team. It takes a lot of work to get to that next level. sometimes it's easy to be good. It's tough as hell to become a champion of the Horizon League or a world champion or whatever you're in. Brief history from my standpoint regarding YSU. I grew up in the south side of Youngstown, Pemberton Park. So all of you athletes are all used to these beautiful Stambaugh stadiums and Beagley Center and the Watts Center. Behind my house, when I was 8 years old, I got a chance to meet Dyke Beatty. I got a chance to meet Bob Dove. They were practicing at Pemberton Park. They didn't have a place to change. And that was my first time that I ever met the red and white of Youngstown State. And it was, at 8 years old, and I was big and clumsy, and it was like, wow, that is really something that is in this town. They played at Camel Memorial. They played at Fitch. They played at a lot of different places prior to getting their beautiful stadium. That's the first time YSU came into my life. 1987, I'm retired now from football. My father-in-law says, you have a good business mind. I graduated from Michigan, never ever taking a business class. I graduated from Michigan starting as a doctor of pharmacy student and graduated in LS&A in chemistry and communications. YSU opened its doors when my father-in-law said that maybe I should go back to class in those classrooms to take some graduate level classes that allowed me to understand the balance sheet and business law and all of those things. 1987. 1991, Coach Tressel, he's in the middle of greatness at YSU. My coach at Michigan, Bo Schembechler, retires from coaching, and he's the general manager of the Tigers. Coach Tressel invites Bo Schembechler down to YSU to be the head coach for the Red Squad in the red and white game, spring game. And he gives the team a big speech. And Coach, this is where I get my I was the offensive coordinator for that spring game. Bo called me in, and that was at Stambaugh Stadium. We had then left a little bit after 1991, and to see the greatness that was going on with Coach Tressel and to be involved in that with my coach, I was hooked. We went away for a little bit. We came back as my mother was sick, and from that moment on until today, and you all get it, YSU is the key to our community. We have to educate our kids. We have to educate them so that they stay here and become the nurses that we need. There's 3,000 job openings. Forget about unemployment. There's 3,000 job openings that if we could train our kids at YSU and elsewhere that could live in this community, our kids could come back. Our grandkids could stay here. And there's nothing more important. And I'm not telling you 1,000, you guys get it. I ask all of you maybe to talk to 5 or 10 of your friends and explain to them, no matter where they went to school or if they went to school, how important YSU is. And anytime they have a chance to volunteer their time, give their money, how important our future is on the back of YSU. I'd like to thank my family who's sitting here for all of the love and support. My wife, Chris, we celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary next week. 40 years. In Ed Muransky years, that's 106. So I love you. You know you're my partner in everything we do, whether it's YSU and allowing me to go to Fargo, North Dakota, or wherever the Penguins take me. Thanks for always supporting me and all of my crazy endeavors. To my children, Eddie and his wife Chelsea, who are here tonight, DeLauren and her husband Josh, Danielle, who's in Los Angeles. Thanks for giving your dad the greatest gift of all of while I'm alive is seeing you as unselfish givers. As a parent, how you are to your children and the community and your friends, you couldn't give me a better gift. To my grandchildren, one of them who's here tonight, Colette Christine, Coco, hi Coco, Carolina Kay, Paul Edward, and James Phillip. Grandpa's working every day in this valley along with these 1,000 people here tonight, Coco, to make sure that you have a chance to stay here and work here and live here and have a chance to have your Pemberton Park and do all of those fun things like Grandpa had and everybody in this room. To my friends and colleagues, some of which came from Los Angeles today and Florida, I appreciate you being here tonight and your support of me and YSU. Thank you so much, and I love all of you. And I'm truly, truly humbled. So I guess it's time to be seated. Go Penguins. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Treasure. Chris, how'd he do? Perfect? Ed's one of the most generous men you'll ever meet. It's easy to see why his children take just after him and his wife. Just a reminder before we depart here tonight, we've talked about it before, the men's and women's basketball teams in action this weekend. They will be in action on Thursday. How's that fit? You like that? You like that better than that Michigan blue? As much. Tonight you like it more though, don't you? All right. Also, the women's lacrosse team plays in the Watts against Duquesne tomorrow at 4. The baseball team's in Memphis this weekend to begin a 4-game series tomorrow night. Softball is in Baltimore to face Lafayette and UMBC this weekend. We wish women's tennis the best. They're competing at West Virginia this Saturday, and women's bowling next weekend in Lincoln, Nebraska. We wish all our teams the best of luck. Again, thank you for your support of YSU Athletics. We'll see you at the game. One final note, all of our past Penguins of the Year and our current Penguin of the Year, please come forward for a photo, and the bar will remain open to further celebrate Ed Muransky as our Penguin of the Year. Get some bourbon ready. Thank you all for being here. Good night, everyone.